My name is Alex Abbott, and I'm a stream restoration specialist. I work with streams and how streams change over time, specifically thinking about stream crossings, that is, where roads intersect streams, mostly at culverts and bridges. This is our stream table. It's a model of a stream, and it relies on three basic elements. First, there's water, of course, which I think you can see flowing down this little stream. Next is substrate, or the rocky or sandy material that's in the stream bottom. In this case, it's recycled plastic, but it's meant to show you how substrate moves in streams. Finally, we have gravity, what makes the water flow. And that depends, of course, on how steep the stream is, the slope of the stream, or the gradient of the stream. We're going to use this stream model to demonstrate a number of things about how streams work and don't work with stream crossings, where roads cross streams. Let's take a look at how this stream is operating in its natural state without any roads crossing it. Take note of four important elements of the stream. First, water flow. Right now, we'll call this low flow, what you'd expect to see most of the year in this stream. Whatever critters live in this stream, be they fish or insects, macroinvertebrates to use the technical term, they're used to navigating this amount of flow with ease. We'll show you some higher flows in a few minutes, flows that come with rainstorms, small and large. Second, meanders or bends in the stream. Now, these depend a lot on how steep the stream is. Normally, these bends or meanders are the location of the deeper pools in the stream, with shallower areas in between. You'll notice at these bends that sometimes there is erosion on the banks of the stream. This is a natural part of the stream evolution process. Third, substrate, or the stream bottom material. Can you see it moving in the faster flowing areas? Fourth, stream features. Notice the rocks and wood in the stream. All of our natural streams in Maine would have these kind of features. Do you see how the water flows differently around them? These features cause water to flow faster in places and slower in others, scouring the stream bed, creating small eddies. Fish and other critters in the stream use these little differences in flow velocity or speed to find food and to rest, to navigate their way up and downstream. Now that we've seen how the natural stream works, let's build a road and a typical culvert to see how the stream reacts to it. To install any culvert properly, we need to control water flow during construction. This normally means working during low flow periods, usually at the height of the summer when water flow is lowest. And we usually place cofferdams upstream and downstream. We use pumps or bypass pipes to pass clean stream water around or through the work site, and also we remove and filter dirty water from the excavation. Normally when we're installing a culvert, we're going to try to put it down right at the stream grade or even maybe a little bit below the stream grade. And it's really important when we install any kind of culvert to put backfill on top of it and to compact that backfill well. And also normally with any good culvert installation, we're going to add armoring, rock armoring, and other erosion control methods to be able to protect the pipe from scour. Let's look at the size of this crossing relative to the size of the stream. From one bank to the next, we see that this is about 16 units, depending exactly on how you count it and measure it. And the culvert itself is only about 3 units wide. That is not that unusual in the state of Maine, installing a traditional, typical round culvert pipe in a stream. Let's look at how the culvert does with this normal low flow. What do you notice? Take a look at the outlet of the stream. You can see substrate moving through the pipe, but no substrate in the pipe. Let's see what happens when we have a little bit of a storm and we pick up water flow. Do you notice the scour happening at the outlet? You might see erosion. If you look upstream, do you see the water backing up with eddies swirling around at the inlet of the pipe? Let's say that storm ends and we get back to more of a typical low flow. It's important to note that we have so many of these round, typical culvert pipes in Maine for a reason. They're pretty inexpensive and they're pretty amazing at being able to pass a lot of water through them. What they're not so good at is a few other things. You'll notice perhaps by looking at the pipe now that it has no substrate in it whatsoever. It's not a natural environment for fish and other wildlife to pass from one side of this road to the other along the stream. You may also notice that the pipe seems to be up above the stream bed now, with a big scoured area downstream. This is very typical of what we see with an undersized culvert. High velocity water scouring out so that after the storm is passed, there's very little water in the pipe. Can you see the fish in the pool at the outlet of the culvert? This is typical too. After a culvert has scoured out a deep pool, fish often like that area, but inevitably, when they want to pass upstream during a time of very low flow, where they normally would be able to simply swim up the stream, in this case, they're stuck. Most fish can't jump up into culvert pipes. If they can jump up, they often get washed right out again. One of the problems is not just that the fish has to jump, but that the water in the pipe is moving so quickly that try as it might, the fish tries and gets washed out of the pipe again. This is typical of an undersized culvert pipe. What you see here when you look at the outlet of a culvert that has been in place like this for just a little while is it's what we call perched, or it has what we call a free fall at the outlet. There's an actual drop from the pipe to the stream bottom, even though it was installed on the stream bottom, or even a little bit below the stream bottom originally. This is the natural evolution of an undersized culvert pipe, causing a barrier to fish and other aquatic organisms and terrestrial animals, mammals, from passing up along the stream channel as they are used to doing. Now let's say there's a big storm comes through. Let's see how this crossing handles that storm. Can you see the fast water rushing out of the outlet of the culvert? Do you see the water upstream of the culvert at the inlet backed up, kind of like a dam? Because roads are essentially dams, and it's up to us how much of a hole to put in that dam. This dam is backing up water or impounding water until it can get through the pipe. And most of our pipes installed in Maine are really only installed to be able to handle a storm that might come once every 10 years. What we see frequently in this kind of situation is the road is being undermined. The water is flowing underneath and around the pipe because of all the pressure upstream from that backed up water waiting its time to get through that undersized culvert pipe. This is a typical failure. And as you see, if you look at the upstream side of the road, you can see major erosion happening, and obviously this road is failing. This stream crossing is failing. As a way to increase the capacity of a crossing where only one pipe didn't seem to be enough, you will often see one or more additional pipes added. When multiple pipes are done together at the same time, that's often used to save money, and sometimes because the height of the road is very low, and it seems that this is the best solution to maintain that low road. Often, additional pipes are added to an existing one later to try to play catch-up with the stream without replacing the whole crossing. So now we're going to replace our single pipe crossing with a double by adding a second culvert pipe, and we'll follow all of our practices still. In this case, perhaps putting down filter cloth, and providing armoring to the inlet and outlet of the pipes. So let's reinstall our road. We'll repave the road over our new crossing with 2 pipes now. And as you can see, a lot more water is able to pass through these 2 culverts. If we look at the relative size of the stream, if it is still about 16 units from bank to bank across the stream, and the original stream crossing was only 3 units wide, we now have at least 9 units wide. So we're getting closer to at least a major portion of the size of the natural stream. Notice that these culverts were installed at the stream bed and that they are passing substrate. Now let's increase the flow to have another storm and see what happens when the flow increases. Now this is not to be unfair to this multiple culvert crossing, but the fact is that during large storm events, streams pass debris, woody material, branches, leaves, logs, and other material. And unfortunately, one of the most common modes of failure of stream crossings is clogging at their inlets with debris like this. It dramatically slows the flow of water through the pipes and forces some of that water to go into the road embankment. And if you look at the outlet of the stream, you can see once again, though some water is flowing through the pipes, there's also now water flowing underneath or next to the pipes, a sign of imminent failure of this road, made worse by the debris that naturally is in the stream. Now that we've seen a traditional culvert installed, we're going to look now at a stream smart crossing. We're going to install the first of several stream smart crossings in our stream table to show you how they differ from the traditional culvert. To install them, we need to excavate differently. We need to excavate areas for footings, and we always need to excavate those footings deeply enough that they won't be scoured by the natural forces of the stream. So this is one of our classic stream smart crossing types. We call this a bottomless box, or a 3-sided or open bottom box culvert. And it is meant to sit on these footers and provide a wider and higher opening to allow the stream to be connected upstream to down. But to make it truly effective, we need to add a really important element. We need to be sure that inside of our footings, or abutments, as it is, we're going to install rock material, armoring, that protects the footings from any scour up against them. This armoring also has another purpose, and that is to ensure that we are forming a stream inside of our stream smart crossing that is shaped like the natural stream, that it's at the same elevation, the same width, and that it has banks like the natural stream channel does, upstream and down. Now let's install the arch itself. And as with any of our other culverts, we're going to appropriately backfill and compact our backfill. Often providing the appropriate filter cloth and rock armoring at the inlet and the outlet of the crossing to protect those critical areas, especially during high flows from erosion. Frequently, when we're installing these kind of culverts in steeper streams, we also make sure that the kind of natural features that are in the stream upstream and down also are present in the stream smart crossing. So sometimes we will be installing cobbles or small boulders inside the crossing in order to provide the same sort of velocity and resting areas for the critters who use this stream. Many people remark on the large increase in size of a stream crossing that is done in a stream smart way, and it's true that most are quite a bit bigger than the prior stream crossing. But the fact is that the excavation is not much more difficult than for the single culvert pipe. Digging a big hole is at least half the battle. Let's see how our stream smart crossing fares at the typical stream flows that we've seen already with the traditional culvert pipe. What you'll often notice by looking inside the stream smart crossing is the stream is able to meander inside of the crossing. It's able to wend its way downstream as it naturally would in a wider stream bed, not constrained by an undersized crossing pipe. As with any stream smart crossing, we always want to know how well it fits its stream. Once again, our stream is about 16 units wide, and our culvert is about 18 or maybe 19 units wide. And that's just about right. We like to build our stream smart crossings wider than the stream is to allow space for those stream banks inside the crossing. Now let's see how this crossing handles more water and also some of the debris that caused problems in the multiple culvert. Some of that woody material that would naturally pass in the stream channel is passing downstream. Some may be settling right inside the culvert, and that's okay. And we'll increase the flow of this stream to bring on another big storm. And what we see at the larger storm flow is this crossing is passing substrate, woody material, and still has natural substrate in the bottom. That is our goal, for the stream crossing itself to match the natural stream as much as we can. Another type of stream smart crossing that we often build is a bridge. We like bridges, and there are many different ways to build bridges. In this approach, what we're doing is working well up and outside of the stream channel. The stream channel is down here, as we've seen, is still perhaps 16 units wide, and we are trying to make a stream that passes through the middle of our new bridge easily. So in this case, these footings are much wider than the stream channel. And the goal there is to have them up and out of the stream so that they are not scoured by the natural stream scour forces. Whenever we do this, it's really important that we also armor the stream banks, as we did with the open bottom crossing, the box culvert that we installed before. We're going to install rock armoring along the stream banks that, for the really big storms, protects these footings if this bridge is almost full of water. And typically what we'll do then is put more fine material on top of that rock to provide a really good surface for terrestrial animals to pass underneath this bridge along the stream banks, where of course they would naturally choose to pass. And we see this all the time in new crossings that we've built. We see foxes, we see raccoons, we see mink and otter passing under bridges and through stream smart crossings as opposed to going up and over the road. We're going to place our bridge right on top of those footings. We're going to backfill up to the deck and construct our road or reconstruct our road as we normally would. As with any such typical stream-smart crossing, what we're after is a connected stream, upstream to down, with no really serious interruption. We want natural streambed material. We want the stream to have the same width that it does upstream and down, and the capacity to pass storm flows. This type of bridge achieves that just as a number of other stream-smart crossing structures can. A lot of Maine's stream crossings are on forest lands, where logging is done, where harvests are undertaken once every several or many years, depending on the management of that land. One of the most cost-effective solutions for stream crossings on forest lands is to remove the old round metal pipe that was always too small for the stream, let the stream run free, but install footings up and out of the stream, up above the banks of the stream, and whenever management is needed, whenever cutting is needed or maintenance, we can install a temporary bridge. Temporary bridges have been used for many years in the forestry industry. This bridge can be brought in for a relatively short period of time, or at least for a season. Logging operations can be done, and then the bridge deck can be picked up and taken away to another site, allowing the stream to run free, awaiting the time when we need to come back to this site and cross the stream here. One of our last choices in stream-smart crossings is to install a crossing structure that has a bottom but is embedded under the stream bed to allow natural substrate to exist in the crossing, but still the crossing is sized appropriately for the right width for that stream and the right capacity to handle storm flows. This is what we call a pipe arch culvert. It's almost elliptical, but it has a little bit of a flatter bottom. In this case, it's metal. It could be steel or it could be aluminum. And our goal is to not install this crossing on the stream bed. Our goal instead is to excavate. We have done a careful survey of this stream, and so we know how deeply the stream scours its deepest pools. We know what elevation this crossing needs to be at. And so we're going to excavate to the point where we can embed this stream crossing in the stream bottom and then put substrate material in it. And that is the challenging part. As with all of these crossings, we're going to armor the corners of this crossing, the road embankments, the inlet and the outlet of the crossing, to protect it from scour. And what we'd like to do, but which is much harder with embedded culverts, is also to build stream banks inside the crossing. This type of crossing, if it's big enough, can allow someone to drive a bobcat or a skid steer inside of the crossing to move rock like this. There are three clear pluses and minuses to embedded culverts. First, closed bottom structures like this have inherent strength, so they're really good to use where you have weak soils, that is, fine silts and clay, which we have plenty of here in Maine. So these structures are inherently strong. Second, we still have a natural stream bed inside the crossing. Now this does depend on whether the crossing structure is sized appropriately and put in at the correct elevation so that the material is not scoured out. Third, when talking about a concrete box culvert that comes in pieces, often they are in clamshell form so that we can install the bottom and without having the top on, pretty easily build the bed and the banks and then put the top on. Unfortunately, there are also several disadvantages to embedded culverts. More area and material must be excavated than for most open bottom structures to provide the depth to which to rebuild the stream bed. By removing all of the existing stream bed material, getting the right mix of material to match the natural stream is more difficult. Concrete closed-bottom boxes usually cost quite a bit more than similarly sized open-bottom structures. And in even moderate sizes, often require a crane to install them, adding cost and time. When not in a clamshell form, building bed and banks inside can be very difficult. And in smaller, smooth-bore pipes, such as the modern plastic pipes that folks are putting in many places, substrate is much more readily scoured out, and banks are very difficult to build and maintain. These were some examples of stream-smart crossings built on our stream table, but we hope they show you some of the important principles behind stream-smart design, choosing among different crossing types, and also some of the practical considerations in building them. We find open-bottom structures best for meeting stream-smart standards, but the goal always remains the same: let the stream act like a stream. We look forward to hearing about the great stream-smart crossings you'll be building and are happy to help to guide you along the way.